Welcome back, cool kids of the internet or something. It's your girl Haley back at it again with another fantastic episode of the pre-review crew. Right. This is your host, not Haley. I'm Brennan this time, but we also got Haley. Say hi, Haley.
Hey guys.
And then we got Mike.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah. Hi. So I'm going to be hosting this one, so prepare yourself for a wild, fun-filled adventure of awkwardly timed pauses and half thoughts. So to kick it over to September, because that's what we do here, we talk about video games. Can we have a round of applause for video games, everyone? Yeah. Some cool stuff. In September, there's a lot of games in September. We're gonna kick it off with. Oh, thank you. Oh wow, this is so properly. You're not supposed to pick the right soundboard sound. You're supposed to pick the most random shit possible. God, this is why you host.
I don't have a soundboard, so otherwise I would go through.
How do you not have a soundboard?
Everyone has a soundboard.
Do you see where the little user setting icon is? It's the little, music notebook.
Oh.
Oh my god. And he's just gonna click every button.
Okay, anyway, continue.
To start September off, we have Rune Factory 3 Special. Which is a simulation role-playing single-player game. I don't know who wrote multiplayer here. That is a flat-out lie. It's developed by Neverland and published by Natsume in North America. Came out on the Nintendo Switch and the PC on September 5th, and it got a top critic average of 78, with 73% of critics recommending. How do we feel? How do we feel about that?
That was about the score I was expecting. Even though I know Rune Factory is really beloved, it usually gets these kinds of scores. If you look at just the past games that have come out, usually scores in the 70s. I picked it up, and I have not put it down since. I am playing it every day. Right now, I'm kind of like, fuck Scarfield, fuck Armored Core 6. I'm just playing Rune Factory.
Honestly, yeah, I mean... Actually, wait, never mind. Host goes last. I forgot. Oh, God. It's so not... Haley, what are your thoughts on this? Wow. That's so enlightening, Haley. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that these scores are pretty par for the course, honestly. I also picked up Rune Factory 3 Special because it's a special game for special people. And I also found myself dropping Starfield in favor of Rune Factory 3. I think it was last weekend where I spent an ungodly amount of time playing Rune Factory. And I didn't regret any of it.
Oh my god, I was pushing the wrong button the whole entire time.
Classic Haley. You're gonna wait your turn because I'm the host, and that's the host. That's house rules for the hosts. So, you could tell that it's like a 10-year-old game. There's like a lot of weird, like archaic stuff that the later games kind of fixed. It's done a lot of small stuff, but I think that they did enough with 3 Special to make it like its own thing. And honestly, I think just it's a testament of how good the core gameplay loop is. Finding your own rhythm and your own routine is nice, and it doesn't feel like it's as punishing as something like Stardew Valley, where you feel like you kind of have to do everything in a day. I feel like Rune Factory is a lot more forgiving. Um, I love the town. I feel like the characters have so much personality and character compared to something like Rune Factory 5, where all the characters kind of feel like washed out and like safe. You know, it's like old Animal Crossing versus new Animal Crossing. I like in old Animal Crossing, your villagers would just straight up hate you, and then in this one, it's like everyone's, "Oh, you're so nice." Like, all right, this is kind of boring. So I liked the personality of the townspeople in Rune Factory 3. I married Karina, the sleepy girl, because why wouldn't you? She's amazing. Who are you going for, Mike?
Carmen.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Carmen, but I've got Raven's social stat pretty high too.
Yeah, I feel like if I were to go back and redo it, I feel like I would do Raven, because I feel like there's more to her. Like, I feel like she keeps a lot of her cards close. So like,
Yeah.
I wish I probably gave her more time, but if anything, my only complaint is that it felt kind of short. And again, it's a 10-year-old game, so there's a lot of like, I don't know, archaic systems about it, like not being able to take stuff out of your shipping bin. Like if you accidentally put something in, you can't take it out. It's just sold forever. You also can't like put stuff in your shipping bin like via a menu. You have to manually take out each stack, drop it in. It's little stuff like that that you go, man, I really miss how they improved upon it in the later games. But overall, I'm glad that I got to sit down and play Rune Factory 3. I'm very like pleased with it, but it did make me want to go back and play Rune Factory 4 again, though.
Yeah, because we were talking last time before we did the last episode about how like this was my first experience with Rune Factory. It was always a game that I was aware of, but I was never like played it, and so I'm glad I picked it up. It was worth it. And so yeah, I just after this, I'm probably gonna spend another couple hours on it.
Very easy to.
Yeah, it's very I don't want to say beginner friendly. Just it's like Animal Crossing where it's really friendly to everybody. It's not one of those games that's intense. It takes a specific skill level, because I mean you're just running around farming, picking up on waifus, and chilling.
Totally. And like even for someone like me who has played a lot of them, really all I had to do was just bump it up to hard, and I felt like I was still, it was still challenging at points for sure. But it was nice that it wasn't just like super easy. Like I liked the additions of the difficulty modifiers. It felt like it appeals to everyone in some way, and I like that a lot. Haley, how do you feel about waifu farming game?
So I just want to say that apparently, like, there was a multiplayer aspect that they took out of the game, out of
Yes,
special,
yeah.
which is why I put multiplayer. So, do apologize. Anyway, farm the waifus have multiple wives. I didn't play this game, nor do I plan on playing it.
Well, you're
Somebody's all about
missing
Stardew
out.
Valley.
I fucking love Stardew Valley.
Honestly, Scott, if you liked Stardew Valley, you would probably like Run Factory. Just core gameplay is similar. If you don't like anime and stuff, probably not gonna like it. But essentially, just Stardew Valley with an anime coat of paint on it.
Yeah, it feels like you can really tell Stardew Valley was kind of based off of this game.
more so, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the emphasis on the combat is a bit more apparent because, like, Harvest Moon, at least like when Rune Factory was first created, it was sold as quote a fantasy Harvest Moon. So like it only kind of made sense that Stardew was like, let's take the best part of each of these games, and I think the part that they honed in on from Rune Factory was the emphasis on combat because it is really fun. Like, at least in my opinion, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody's looking for something simple, I would say pick up Room Factory Special 3.
Especially if you like 2D anime waifus.
Exactly.
There's a whole bunch of those. And if you go down by the beach in springtime or summertime, that's all I will say. They wear bikinis. They wear bikinis.
We're willing to accept our hentai-ness.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along. If farming for 2D waifus isn't your thing, maybe you like shooting for the stars. Because Starfield was a thing that came out in September. I'm really not good at these transitions. Starfield is an action role-playing single-player game that was developed and published by Bethesda. Came out on the PC, Xbox Series X and S, September 6th. It's an 86 top critic average, 88% of critics recommend.
Yeah, like I was saying, even though I've been playing a lot of Rune Factory, I've gotten some time with this game, and it's pretty fun. It's just fucking Bethesda in space. Like Bethesda has like a very unique way of doing games where when you play it, you're just like, yeah, I could tell this is them. And Starfield. Yeah, Starfield, I'm playing it and I'm just like, yeah, this is a very Bethesda feeling game.
In like, in a lot of different ways, but yeah, I mean, I feel like you boot it right up and you just go, yeah, man, I know exactly where I've done this a million times in a good way. I mean, it feels familiar in a way, but honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like it took me a bit to get into. It felt really slow at first. It didn't quite sink its teeth into me immediately. It took a couple of play sessions, a couple hours for me to like sit down and really get into it. But I find myself enjoying it quite a lot. I don't think it's perfect, right? Like I don't think it's the greatest thing that Bethesda's ever made, but I do really commend on what works, in my opinion, really works. But there's certain things holding me back from being like, this is the best. Really all I can say is when it works, and when it doesn't, it's kind of okay, right? It's like it's not overall. I think that the scores that it got kind of perfectly encapsulates it. It's a solid B plus A minus game in my opinion, and every way possible. I like the shipbuilding. I think the shipbuilding's really cool. Spent like a stupid amount of time building my ship.
So I watched a little bit of this to like see if it would be something that I would want to play. It is in fact not anything that I want to play. But I will say that the one major complaint that I saw was that a lot of the planets are literally identical copies, but like a different color.
I mean, yeah, but people have to realize they didn't they went through and did every planet themselves. Unlike a game like No Man's Sky, which has just as many planets, they're what do you call it? What's the term?
Procedural.
Yeah, they're procedurally generated. Where I know with Starfield, they actually worked on the planets themselves. So I don't know. I give them a little grace on that because of that.
Yeah. That was just like the one complaint that I heard. I feel like if they didn't, I sort of feel like they could have changed like one or two things about each one and still kept some of the planets very similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just don't make like don't copy and paste and then put a new filter over top of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I honestly thought this game was going to do a little bit better. There wasn't a lot given to us about this game. We didn't really get to see too much of it. So, honestly, I was expecting this to do just as well as The Legend of Zelda, Baldur's Gate, to be in the mid to high 90s. Um, just because of the hype surrounding this game. So I am a tiny bit disappointed that it is on the lower side, but it's not too low. It seems to be doing very well, and people still really enjoy it, um, even though there are some small issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a Bethesda game, so it's like expect bugs.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like did I want it to perform better? Yes. Am I not surprised where it landed? Not really. To be honest with you, my personal metric of success for Starfield was I just have to enjoy this more than Fallout 4. And I did. So for me, it's like, yeah, I like Starfield, Again, not perfect. I do wish the one thing that I do miss is just having, like, as much as I understand the ethos of making all these planets and being able to touch down anywhere and, procedurally generating some spots, but also handcrafting most of it. The handcrafted parts, I have to admit, are very handcrafted, you can tell. The procedural parts, you can tell are procedural. But I do miss just picking a direction and going, I'm going to just find everything I can in this one direction. You can't really do that in Starfield. And so I kind of miss that. Like, there are points in where I wish I could explore, but I find that, like, the parts that I can, like New Atlantis, the city of New Atlantis, I've probably spent a stupid amount of time in that city. I've probably spent more time in New Atlantis just exploring everything than I've been in any hub in any Bethesda game ever. Like, and that's just one out of like 3 cities. Neon is just as complicated and complex, like internally and externally. It's crazy how compact, certain parts are. And it's like that's where the exploration comes from. And I also think that, like, yes, it's a game where you're playing as a quote-unquote explorer, but I feel like there's something about Starfield that I feel like this is a role player's dream. The amount of, like, when you join certain factions, that will come up in dialogue options. The amount of times that NPCs have kind of politely suggested you find another way to solve a problem without just going in guns a-blazing is really nice, especially compared to something like Skyrim or Fallout 4, where they're like, go in this cave and kill all these people and then come back. It's a nice, refreshing take on role-playing. And also, the other thing, now that I've finished a couple of these faction quest lines, some of the faction quest lines have some of the most morally gray decisions I've ever seen. Again, compared to something like Fallout 3, where their big moral decision was, do you want to blow up a whole town or not? Oh, it's like we've come very far from that binary black and white. And I can't help but just appreciate that. I really do think that this is like for role players. How much like the shipbuilding, the outpost building, all of it kind of like lends itself to role playing in weird ways. Like the dialogue is also just really well written, in my opinion, both for the player and for people like NPCs. There were NPCs that had nothing to do with the story, and meanwhile, I was still just kind of captivated by their stories. Like, there's a handful of things that I'll write off about Starfield that I really liked. I found a space casino, an abandoned casino in space that was in zero G, and it was overtaken by pirates. That was cool. Had an old grandma just jump into a system and go, "Come on board. I'm lonely and I want to have dinner with another human being." And so I joined, and there was an actual grandma who told me to take all the food in her ship. That was cool. There was a ship of just people they were just having a party, and they were like, "Let's turn off the grav." So you were just floating around in this ship, like that stuff doesn't happen in Skyrim. Okay, you kind of have to look at that and go, "That's kind of fun. That's kind of cool." It's just a lot of little things that I liked. Is it perfect? No. Do I wish that they changed a lot more? Yes, but I'm not gonna complain about it on the forums. I'm just gonna think I'm past the point of like complaining about video games. Just go, yeah, it was good enough, you know what? And then I just call it a day. I'm not surprised that this is where this landed.
Yeah, just looking at the reviews, I think the biggest thing affecting these reviews is everybody is comparing it to. I did it earlier in this episode. Everybody's comparing it to like Skyrim and Fallout. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
like,
it's hard not to.
yeah, so it's kind of like it's not being treated as its own game.
Yeah, fair.
Makes
Honestly,
sense. Yeah.
and I'm guilty of that too. I've only been comparing it to something like Skyrim and Fallout 4 when objectively you should be kind of looking at it on its own. And even still on its own, I still think it's fairly good. Not game of the year, but something that I'll hopefully remember. At least until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. I don't even know. Okay, but instead of lying to myself and everyone around me, let's talk about Lies of Pinocchio. It's actually called Lies of P, but I'm just gonna. The P stands for Pinocchio here. If we didn't know that. It's a Souls-like single player that was published by NeoWiz Games, and it was developed by NeoWiz Games, and published by Round 8 Studio. It released on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and X. And actually, as of recording this on Monday, September 18th, it actually releases tomorrow, September 19th. But OpenCritic thankfully has reviews for us. It's got an 82 top critic average. 85% of critics recommend.
Okay, wait. I want to start this one off. Okay.
Okay.
So I was watching. Sorry. This is actually a question I have for you guys. So I was watching Dan's Gaming play this game early, because when you buy the digital deluxe edition, you get the game. I think it was like up to 3 or 4 days early.
Yeah, it was a few days.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we have these reviews right now. Plus, critics get the game. Anyway, so my question for you guys, which is a little off of the topic but still relevant to this game, is how do you feel about developers charging extra for you to get the game early? For example, Diablo 4 did it.
Phil did it.
Yeah, like a whole, it seems like it's becoming a frequent thing, especially because microtransactions are almost a thing of the past because they've brought on so much issues. It seems like now developers are like, okay, well, how can we rake in a couple extra bucks without microtransactions, since everybody hates microtransactions? Oh, we'll give them access early. You get it 3 days early, it's an extra 10-20 bucks. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
To me, it's how I don't want to say important, but how much are you anticipating this game? Are you willing to pay, $15 more, get the ultimate edition, and get the extra few days? Because this is becoming a very common thing. Because, like you said, Diablo did it, Starfield did it, Mortal Kombat 1, just did it. I know there's other games that have been announced that are getting special editions that are all saying pre-order the game or get the ultimate edition and you get the game 4 days early. So it's like, I don't know, to me it's not worth it. I can wait. I'm a patient person. But I know some people, excuse me, look forward to a game so much that to them it's worth buying the ultimate edition. Because usually the ultimate edition doesn't come with just the game coming out early. It'll also come, like Mortal Kombat had, I forgot which character it was. It came with another character. Starfield came with a whole bunch of stuff like the soundtrack and all that. So I think it's a matter of how impatient are you and how important is this game to you that you want to play it 3 days before it's supposed to come. Because like Starfield, I waited until it was just fully released instead of getting it and getting the 5 days early access.
Yeah, I'm pretty much feel the same way. I think it really boils down to, at least personally for me, it's like what you get from the deluxe edition outside of just the early access. If the deluxe edition, like only if the main draw of the deluxe edition is to play early, no thank you. But at least in Starfield's case, I was thinking about it a bit because they seem to, I think they wrapped like some future DLC into it. They're like, yeah, you have access to this later on. I think. Could be wrong about that.
Yeah, you get the first expansion for included.
See, so like something like that, I would. It's as long as you package the extra money that you're spending with like actual real value outside of just a limited access 3-day window, which will go away, by the way. Once everyone has it, your early 3-day early thing means nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I think it's really dependent on what else is being offered. But outside of that, though, I kind of hate it. I mean, I guess it's fine. Like, they're not putting a gun to your head, right? You don't have to buy it early. And I think that they're also kind of working off of a bit of FOMO there, like pretty hard. So, yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the greatest practice of all time, but I think I would take that over something more predatory, like microtransactions, for example.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Like, I don't think it's great, but if I had to pick between the lesser of two evils, I'll take the getting it a couple days early thing, even though I still don't really like that.
Yeah. Like, I definitely have to agree. Like, in the case of Diablo, like, all my friends bought it early so they could play it early. And I didn't because I had grad school at the time, so I knew I wouldn't have time to play it early. So I was just like, there's no point in me buying this early because I won't get to utilize playing it early. So, like, there's no point in spending the extra money. So, like, I had to wait while all my friends had it. But yeah, like, Dan had brought it up, and I was like, okay, like, let's see what the guys have to say, because it just seems like it's a new trend. But, Dan also said that there have been a lot of Souls-like games out, but that this is one that comes the closest, or just, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but just about the closest to an actual, like, Souls game.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reviews right now, and that's what a lot of people are praising this for, is just saying that this is one of the better Souls-like games that you can pick up right now, or technically tomorrow. But yeah, that's what people are saying. If you like Dark Souls, if you like Bloodborne, that's what this looks like is Bloodborne. Then you're gonna like this game.
Yeah, I feel like these scores kind of make sense when you think about. I don't know if to me, like if you have something X, right, and you want to make something that's inspired by X, you make Y. I don't think whatever you make will ever be as fully good as whatever you're inspired by, right? More like 99% of the time. I can't think of many times that that's actually happened offhand. Sorry if I'm wrong, but like I don't think Lies of P would ever score higher than something like Dark Souls, right? I just don't see that happening. But I think that the fact that it got as high as it did means that it is one of, if not the best, Souls from software inspired kind of Souls-like game. Because most Souls-like games are kind of shit, and like you're emulating something that's not. How often do you find something that's an emulation is better than the original, right? Like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really happen that often. So I think that the scores and the praise that this game is getting, especially compared to something like a Titan like Dark Souls, I think it's super sound praise. Like, it's totally warranted. And from all the videos and like all the previews that I've seen about this, it just makes sense. It makes sense. I buy that the fact that this is one of the better Souls-like games outside of the original, I guess. But see, therein lies the problem. It's like it will never, at least for people that really like FromSoft, as good as it is, it will never be able to touch what it's trying to emulate. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
And
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue in all honesty. Like, you're always going to have the original, the GOAT, the one that's at the tippy top that nobody can come remotely close to, but they get close to it. And I think what Lies of P has done is a lot more than what other Souls-like games have accomplished so far. It's probably the one that is closest to being like a Souls-like game, but it's going to take more than what they've done to overcome a giant like the original. So, I mean, I don't think what they've done here is bad, honestly. I think this is great. It's setting another standard of like, hey, if you guys can't emulate them, we'll emulate us because we're the second best.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's fantastic, and it's honestly, I would label this my biggest surprise of 2023 because I didn't think this game would score as good as it has.
Yeah.
I sort of thought this was just one of those toss-ins that, oh, it's a Pinocchio game. It's sort of Souls-esque. Like, I just thought this one was going to be forgotten about, but it seems like a lot of people really fucking like it. So I'm quite pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I downloaded the demo and I never played it. I should probably do that.
I think this would just be if you're tired of FromSoft and you want something new. I think this would be a really good game for people to pick up.
Personally, I feel like if you are trying to cope with the fact that Bloodborne still isn't 60 frames per second on a PS5, I think you should just play this game instead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until I hate to say that. Like, I don't mean that as a dig. I don't mean that as a dig. I know that kind of came across, maybe sounded like a dig, but no, I mean it's the closest thing to Bloodborne that you'll get right now, and
That's just the fucking truth, man.
yeah, and that's not a bad thing, like at all. Like Haley was saying, that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a good thing if you think about it, because you can't play Bloodborne at 60 frames per second. You might as well play something that is just as good. Just kidding. Nothing will ever touch Bloodborne. I'm sorry. Bloodborne's the greatest game of all time. I'm sorry, hands down. Okay, moving right along to
Listen to us, Sony. We're bleeding over your game right now. Give us at least a remaster.
oh my god, just make a fucking 60 frames per second update. God dang it, dude.
Oh, damn it! Just listen. We're telling you what you people want.
Just make Bloodborne 2. God,
Mm-hmm.
please. Okay. As we move up into October, with this is the month of just sequels. Apparently, we got Assassin's Creed Mirage kicking it off, which is like the 18th billionth game in the series. I'm just gonna get all my digs in now before Haley gets to talk. This action adventure game is a single player. I believe it's only single player. God only knows if they whatever they added to this mess. It was developed by Ubisoft Bordeaux because
They French.
they're French. Yeah. Published by Ubisoft. Shocker. It's coming out on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and S, and Xbox One. It's coming out on Xbox One. Oh my god. Okay. And it's gonna come out on October 5th. All right, Haley.
I think my biggest complaint is that Brennan said those all out of order.
Yep, I did.
So, okay, apparently Ubisoft has this big idea of going back. Going back as in going back to the playthrough and gameplay similar to Assassin's Creed 2 and the Ezio trilogy, which I don't have an issue with because I started with 2. I really enjoyed it. Played through all of those ones, went to 3, skipped around here and there. Fuck Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate's the best. And then after that is where they started this massive multi-open world bullshit. I don't care about this game. Whoa! Oh my god, Haley literally just said that. How dare she?
I was about to say, if Haley says that about an Assassin's Creed game,
It's over.
holy
It's
shit,
over.
yeah, it's over. It's over.
Here's why I don't care for this. They spend I'm so out of this era. Like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm done with it. I'm so over it. 2, you can't go back in time to save shit. You just fucking can't. And I feel like this game is sort of a game made to sort of just be like almost like a side game. Like, to me it doesn't scream main title within the Assassin's Creed world. It doesn't scream like that to me. I feel like this game is sort of a side story to wrap up what is going on within the main like real world storyline, because that's a fucking clusterfuck. And they've brought it back to here and they're gonna end it, and then Jade and the other one's going to come out. I forget it. It's the dark and spooky one, and those are going to be the main titles. I feel like this is just sort of like a hurrah to wrap up everything. Sort of like what is somebody, I think they're like anniversaries coming out, like the Assassin's Creed anniversary. So I feel like it's sort of like a, we made this for the anniversary. I just I don't care. I honestly don't fucking care. Because it's supposed to be about Basim, and he was in Valhalla, and if you know what is going on with him in Valhalla, then this ties into that, and I couldn't give a shit about him, so yeah, I don't care, because they're gonna go back you're gonna get this, and then Jade, or whichever one that is supposed to come out next, is gonna be completely fucking different. So like, there's no point. This game is just, they were like, hey, we need an Assassin's Creed game because it's been a little bit of time, even though fucking Valhalla literally has a like $30 DLC that is essentially in and of itself a full fucking game. Like, I just, whew, I don't know. I don't know. Ubisoft is just doing shit for money now, and they're like, everybody sat there and bitched that they want the old Assassin's Creed back, so let's do it. And then the next game comes out, it's gonna be a complete 360. So, Merry Christmas. I guess you got what you wanted. I don't have high hopes for this game.
Um, just looking at this, I think this is a case of pushing a series too far. Instead of knowing where to stop, where to end it, and they just want to keep pushing and pushing because, like you said, it's a money thing. At the end of the fucking day, it's a money thing. Like, I don't care what anybody says. And it's like they've pushed it so far that they're like, oh, we're gonna go back to the old ones, and you're like, you stop and you think, holy shit, that was 8 games ago. Like, just let this shit end now. I'm sure Ubisoft can do other cool ideas, but instead they are continuing a series that just does not need to be continued anymore. Because if they're going back to the Ezio trilogy, that tells you something. That tells you they've already exhausted all their previous ideas, and now they have to rely on an idea from Ezio trilogy was like over a decade ago. So it's like they need to learn to just let go and go try something new. Who knows? Maybe they can try a new IP. That'd be awesome. As when Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 came out, because I played the originals, back when they first came out. And, give their developers something fresh, something new, give their fans, their consumers something we haven't played before, and just let this horse die. Like, I don't know, that's just how I feel.
I agree. I feel nothing for this franchise. Not anymore. I just don't, like Haley said, I don't really care about Bassam at all. Like, at all. And I feel like I mean, at this point, they are so afraid of making a new IP and letting this die that they're just like, we're just going to rehash the hell out of this in a billion different flavors and colors. And I feel like ultimately it just boils down to the same thing. Like, I don't know. I'm just not. I just don't care anymore about Assassin's Creed. I'm so sorry, Ubisoft, but I'm just not.
Oh, I want to clarify. I fucked up. I got Jade, codename Jade and codename Red confused. Codename Red is the game that's set in feudal Japan, and will actually be a console game. Codename Jade is the one that's set in China and is the mobile game. And then Hexe is the like the dark one. And here we go. This is what I was talking about. On Games Radar, they quote that codename Hexe is positioned to be a very different type of Assassin's Creed game. Why? Why? Why do we need a different type of Assassin's Creed game? Like, I don't understand. They had a good thing going. They fucked it up because they pulled out, a Call of Duty and decided to release every year. Wore down their teams to the point that their games were literally not finished. to the point that they were fucking broken. So then they went, okay, we're gonna stop doing that. We're gonna go back to the drawing world. What's hot right now? Massive open worlds. We do massive open worlds to the point that, like, your game is literally fucking, like, hours long. Hours long. I don't even think I'm halfway through fucking Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I have, like, 60 fucking hours into it. What? And then you drop that stupid ass DLC that's like $30. That's essentially a game in and of its own right. And you give me a bunch of DLC on top of that? Like, what? I don't need all this. Shorten your fucking game. And now 3 games later, I think it's been 3 games. Or 4 games? 3 or 4 games later of this massive open world bullshit, you're then going to release 2 more games, Mirage and whatever the fuck codename Red's going to be, because we don't know if it's going to be old Assassin's Creed or new Assassin's Creed, and then next thing you know, you're going to be like, whoa, here's another new Assassin. Like, they're digging a massive fucking hole for this franchise, and it makes me so disappointed, because it could be so cool. They had such a good thing going, and I feel like they just keep making it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, because they have lost their sense of direction with what Assassin's Creed truly is. And I think Mirage is that, oh, we're going to try to get back to what we were, but I don't think it's going to work, because I think they have dug themselves too far down that they can't climb back up. And that's just me. Like, I love Assassin's Creed. This fucking Syndicate, whew, that's my favorite game of all time. My dog is named after Evie Fry. Like, I love that fucking game. I can't tell where they're going. And that makes me so just disappointed, because it's like, yeah, everybody wants a game set in feudal Japan, which we all know that this is going to get compared to Ghost of Tsushima. So, like, those comparisons are going to come out again. But it's like, I don't have any more hope for the Assassin's Creed series, because I don't, the game has lost its identity, it's lost its direction. It's just slap some fucking paint on it and call it a fucking day. We're out here looking like Assassin or Call of Duty all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm tired.
I think we all are. At this point, it's like, just, yeah.
I want hope for... I don't know. I got nothing.
Give me some Rayman, Ubisoft. Come on now. Like,
I got nothing. That's it. I got nothing. So, we'll see, I guess.
Really quick, you know what I think is funny? In Assassin's Creed Black Flag, in the real life section, you work as an employee of a company which is framed as a game dev company, right? And they're like extracting all these memories or whatever so they can make VR video games for you. Even when Ubisoft comes up with their own fake game dev company, they still milk their own Assassin's Creed franchise, because there's like 8 different games that they came out with in said game, and they're all just like, this one's in this time period, this one's in that time period, and they're like self-referencing. It's like, you're even in a perfect idealized world, you're still just pumping out the same garbage over and over. And I think that's so funny. I think that even in a world where they could come up with anything, they still just want to milk that cow. And I love that. Obviously, it was for in-game lore reasons, but I still think that the image in and of itself is funny.
And they frame themselves as the bad guy.
They also kind of, yeah, 100% they did that. And I also think that that's really funny. Can we just talk about how good Black Flag was?
Black Flag is amazing.
This is so good.
Speaking of side
Moving
note,
on.
didn't Sea of Thieves finally come out, which was essentially the the game that Black Flag sort of like made?
Honestly, I don't know
Sea of
enough
Thieves was
about Sea
awesome.
of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves was awesome.
It was in like development hell for the longest time. Like they saw how much everybody loved sailing in Black Flag and decided to make a game purely about that, and then it took years to finally release.
Yeah, I played. I don't know if it was when it released or whether it was the early access, but yeah, that was. I played with my brothers and some of the homies, and that was like a game where it was like we didn't take shit seriously like you do in Assassin's Creed. We were just sailing everywhere, causing trouble, throwing each other into prison, and getting drunk. That's what Assassin's Creed needs. It needs to be stop being so damn serious and let me have some crazy fun times like Sea of Thieves did.
Shit, I was wrong. It's not Sea of Thieves. It's Skull and Bones. And
Oh, okay.
that game still was not out yet.
Okay, I was like Sea of Thieves. Like I thought that came out.
Oh
Like...
yeah, I knew it was something. Like I knew it was. I just couldn't remember the title, but yes, like it's developed by Ubisoft Singapore, who developed and drew inspiration from the naval battles of Black Flag. For example, okay, to tell you how old this game is and how long it has been in development hell, Skull and Bones began development in 2013, which is when I graduated high school 10 years ago.
Oh my god.
This game has been in development hell for 10 fucking years. They have pushed it back so many times that it is now indefinitely delayed to 2023-2024 fiscal year due to underperformance of recent launches. This game ain't fucking coming out.
Yeah, 10 years. Oh my god.
It ain't fucking coming out. I don't know what is going on with Ubisoft Singapore, but it's not coming out.
It's trying to be the next what do you call it?
Star Citizen.
Half-Life 3.
I was gonna say it's that one video game that everybody crowdfunds, but the game hasn't come out and it's taken like $6 million in like crowdfunding money.
Yeah,
Star Citizen.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Star Citizen. It's like a fucking Tool album.
Like it's apparently cost Ubisoft $120 million.
Wow, they are not getting that back.
Yeah. I don't care how good
no.
this game ends up. That is money.
Not at all.
They might as well have just put it all in a box and burned it.
Bro, they should have shipped us that shit. They'd be making more money off of us than they ever would this game.
Pretty much.
Anyway, I'm so sorry, going off on my Ubisoft tangent.
Oh, you have nothing to apologize for.
I'm disappointed, Ubisoft. And I can't give you... I can't give them a fucking pass anymore. Like, how many more excuses am I gonna give to a company that just... It puts out literal fucking shit. Like, what the fuck? Is this the new fucking 2K game? Like, what are you giving me? Anyway, okay, I'm done. I'm finally done.
Listen, Ubisoft, you just lost one of your biggest fangirls. That says something.
Seriously, I never thought this was gonna happen.
And me neither.
I don't think I will ever pre-order. Oh, that's a tough one to say, because they can get me with those damn statues. But I don't think I will ever pre-order an Assassin's Creed game again. Unless, like, Hexe fucking blows me out of the fucking water and their statue's on point, or, like, Codename Red is, like, on point and gives me, like, a badass female statue, I don't think I will ever pre-order this game ever again. And if I don't think I can finish it, I probably will not buy it. Like, I have not... I can't get through Valhalla because it's so fucking long. And they they changed shit and they're giving you more side quests, and I'm like, okay, this is great for somebody who has actually completed the game. But I have no fucking time because it's so fucking long and I'm doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. Like, you want to talk about copy and paste? Valhalla is a great, great example of that. Okay, now I'm truly done.
You let it all out? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You okay?
Yep.
You sure?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
We can keep going if you want. I mean,
Nope, it's okay. It's okay. I will complain next month more when this game comes out and meets my expectations. I'm giving it anywhere between a 62 and a 75.
Place your
Wow.
bets, people.
Okay, well, I am after that I am raising my hourly rate to $45 an hour. Moving right along to the I hope this game sucks so that we can all say it's a mirage. You know, it looked really pretty, but then you actually get there and it's just nothing but a pile of shit sand.
I hate you. But that was clever.
That wasn't good either. Okay, well, if we're gonna marvel at anything, we should marvel at Marvel's Spider-Man 2. That was just as bad. I gotta come up with one for the next one too. Okay, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, not to be confused with Spider-Man 2 that came out like 20 years ago. Also, banger video game.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Whew. This one is an action-adventure single-player game, similar to the GameCube one. But where it differs is that this one was developed by Insomniac Games and it's published by Sony. And it's going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, probably for only a couple months, and then it's going to go over to PC somehow. I don't know. God only knows. But it's a PS5 exclusive for the time being, and it's releasing on October 20th.
So what happened with the first one? It ended up on PC.
Yep, and Miles, too. Yeah.
And I never played it. It's in my library because I got it on sale, but I've never played it.
Oh my god. They were both really good. Okay, so yeah, as a big Spider-Man fan, as a fan of Spider-Man, as a fan of the Spider-Men, because now I guess technically there's two of them. They screwed it up. They should have called this game Spider-Man. Like that would have just been the best sequel title of all time. Spider-Man. Can we not? All right. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that was the name of the issue where they met. Not important.
Yeah, it was Spider-Man.
It was, right? Yeah. Great issue. Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to this. I loved the first game. I thought it was one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told in all of Spider-Man. Okay. There's only a few games that have ever made me shed a tear at the end, and Spider-Man is one of them. Okay. Death Stranding's the other one. But at least in the more recent years. But I really like the setup here. I mean, we could talk about. First off, we'll talk about the wingsuit. You put a wingsuit in any game, I'm gonna like it. I don't really care if it's accurate to the lore or not. I mean, technically, Spider-Man back in the day, he had like those little web things in his armpits.
Yeah, in his arms, he had the little web things.
So like, I'll buy it. I don't give a shit. Look, if it's fun, you can change the lore. I don't care. I think that's great. Actually, I think the traversal is really cool. I like how they're also adding like Queens and Brooklyn. Like they're expanding New York. You know, so you're not just traversing the same thing. Because we've had two games in Manhattan. There's only so many times that you can look at a virtual Manhattan and go, "What is this building?" Like, God, okay. Especially the people that live here too. I know what the Empire State Building is. Okay, I don't really give a shit. But you throw in Queens, that's cool, man. I'm throwing Queens. No one really likes to go to Queens, so to be able to go to Queens in a video game, I think that's fun. I'm just kidding. I love Queens. I think the story setup is really interesting. I think the whole introduction of the symbiote is just, so fundamental to Spider-Man that it's hard not to have a story that includes it somehow. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to the interactions between Miles and Peter, because to me that was one of the cooler parts of the first two games. The little hints of it in the first game were cool. They expanded upon it in the DLC, which was more than cool because they were really building up to Miles Morales' game, and that in and of itself was a fantastic game. It did feel like a bit of an expansion, but it was its own thing enough to a point where I still thoroughly enjoyed it. But I really think that the interaction between the two is going to be the highlight here. I cannot express how much I'm looking forward to Miles and Peter interacting, and then especially with how they keep showing how Peter's being influenced by the symbiote, and there's going to be some kind of altercation between the two, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait for them to make me cry again. They did it once. I think they're going to do it again. And I mean, because it's really just people at the end of the day. Peter Parker is not a superhero. Peter Parker is a human being. And they make that abundantly clear. The superhero thing just happens to be on par. But Peter, the story of Spider-Man has always truly been the story of the person behind the mask. And I'm just really looking forward to the whole setup, just everything. Also, there's like a billion costumes. They revamped the combat system a lot.
Holy shit, I forgot how many costumes they said. They revealed how many costumes, and I just went, holy shit, I did not know Spider-Man had that many costumes.
Yeah, it's like, I want to say it's like 60 plus. I forget what the number the guy said. Yeah, the guy he shouted out a number in the preview trailer that they had, where they kind of like go over each individual feature, and the fact that you can even switch them on the fly, I think, is cool. Though the one hesitation I have about the whole switching thing is that hopefully they feel different enough, or like certain things are locked for certain characters. Because I don't really want Miles and Peter to play and feel the same. I want them to have their own individuality, and they do, for the most part. But hopefully that's shown off through gameplay as opposed to just design and story.
Over 65 costumes.
Yeah, damn, dude, that's.
I didn't know he had that many.
Insane. I mean, yeah, he's got a lot. And the first game had a lot too.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't play the first one. Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes. I remember I was a 90s child, so I remember growing up with that cartoon, that aired in the 90s. I was like...
Yeah, I love that one. I'm super good.
I remember getting home from, second grade and, turning on the TV because it was Batman and Spider-Man, in the after-school block. And, most of I collect comic books. Most of my collection is Spider-Man, or his, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales. But like you're saying, one thing they really need to, focus on is the difference between the two, because their powers are radically different.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice. It'd be nice to see what they do with Miles Morales getting the symbiote suit. We've already seen Peter get the symbiote suit a ton of times. I'd be interested.
That would be interesting. I didn't even think of that, to be honest.
Yeah. Like if in this one we finally get to see what happens when Miles,
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I mean, because again, it's just that would lend itself to a lot of different cool story interactions. Because again, Peter's always been one to save people, even if they're villains. He wants to save them. So it's not about just punching the dude really hard in the face, right? It's about leveling with them and talking to them more often than not. But oh my god, I didn't even think about Miles getting the suit. That would be really interesting. I don't think Miles has ever had anything like that. I mean, Miles has his fair share of shit that he deals with, but
yeah,
I don't know if he's ever had to deal with like a symbiote or something. That would be crazy. And he would have to have it like after Peter, so Peter's like the one who like is like, dude, chill. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this. I think hopefully, I'm really hoping that it performs well. I mean, like in the first game, reviewed rather well, and so I'm hoping Insomniac just pulls it out of the park here. I mean, and it's not like they haven't. I just hope that they're firing on all cylinders here. And even from the preview, it kind of looks like they have. I mean, some of these animations look unreal too. Like, I don't know, watching some of this, it's like, I don't even know how you guys made this. This is crazy. At least in terms of animation, period. Like,
I
I don't
love
know.
those sequences when they're flying in the suit, the glider suit.
Right? Like,
Like,
and even just like the traversal, just they mentioned that it feels faster. It looks faster too. Like, I don't know. That's the other thing. It felt like I feel like there were certain Spider-Man games where the web slinging had like a level of skill to it, and the one complaint I had about the other Spider-Man game is that you just kind of hold buttons. I mean, there were ways to make it more fun, but there wasn't really like a high skill ceiling for it. So hopefully they've added more to it where you can go faster if you want to go faster. You just know how. You just have to know how to do it.
go fast. Wrong game.
Haley, how do you feel about Spider-Man?
So I had no interest in the first game, but I did watch the Rad Brad play Miles Morales, and I really really liked it. I if I have time and two eventually goes on sale, maybe around the holiday season, I think I'll pick it up and play it. It doesn't seem too hard, honestly. It seems like my type of game. And visually, they look fucking gorgeous. So I'm really curious to where this story goes since now you have the two Spider-Men. You have Miles and Peter. So I'm super excited. Honestly, I think I'm fucking more excited about this game than any of the fucking movies that they're putting out. Like, the last movie that I was excited for that was a Marvel movie was literally Spider-Man. So, I'm excited. Game of the year? I don't think so. I think it will be top 5.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I don't know. I can't remember if the first one. I think it might have been, if anything, it may have been like a nominee if I had to guess offhand. I can't remember though. But yeah, I mean, I hope it's top 5 at the very least. Do I think it's going to be game of the year? Probably not. I honest to God think that that's just going to contend between Breath of the Wild and Baldur's Gate. I don't know if Spider-Man can. I hope it does. Don't get me wrong.
Sorry, Peter. You can't stand up to Link.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry, buddy.
the game scored very well, but it looks like it didn't really win anything.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds right.
well, it won 11 awards, but it was nominated for 73. Um, let's see. It didn't win anything at the Game Awards, but it was nominated. It won at the British Game Awards for Best Narrative. Um, won Best Console Game and Best Action Adventure at the Game Critics Awards. Gamers' Choice Awards, won for Fan Favorite Action Game, Fan Favorite Single Player Gaming Experience, and Fan Favorite Character of the Year. Gamescom won Best PlayStation 4 Game. Japan Game Awards Award for Excellence. The SXSW won for Excellence in Animation and Excellence in Convergence. So, I mean, but also look at the year this game came out in, 2018. What were they up against?
A lot.
So,
And I think how well this game does is also going to depend on that, because you got to look at what came out this year. You know,
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield.
And for example, kicking it back to 2018, they went up against Red Dead Redemption 2, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Far Cry 5, God of War,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Fighter. So like you're looking at heavy fucking games. Monster Hunter World, Dead Cells, Inside, Bayonetta 2, Undertale, Celeste. Like, it was a heavy year. Nier Automata, God Edition. They did the revamping of Shadow of the Colossus. So, I mean, it was a heavy year in 2018. So that doesn't surprise me that they lost, unfortunately. But I mean, God of War was sweeping the charts. So let's be real.
Yeah. That's kind of what we're going to see this year.
It's hard, like, unfortunately, and that's sort of the way the cookie crumbles in the industry. And I feel like this year's very weird. I don't want to drag on, but I feel like normally the end of the year is packed.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like since we are finally getting out of that COVID funk, everything's getting back to normal. The end of the year ain't packed anymore. Everybody was like, no, we want to get our games out as soon as we can. So they hit us sooner rather than later. And I think that has been a good thing because you're not making people wait. You're also not making people rush, and you're allowing people time to play your games. So, like, we get to experience Baldur's Gate, and then we get to experience Starfield, and then we get to experience Alan Wake 2, which we're going to talk about in a second. And, like, you get to have these bites of all these games instead of sitting there going, damn, what am I going to spend my money on? I only have enough to buy one game. Mind you, it's October, and 6 games came out that you want to play.
I'm looking at game releases for November and December. Spoilers for those episodes. Not much coming out.
Exactly. And it's like, I will say I like this year. I like that we've had time to actually play these games and figure out, okay, well, was this game good? Did I like this game? Okay, I have like a month to play Baldur's Gate until this other game comes out. Like, I feel like we actually have had time to breathe, and it's not this massive holiday rush at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how 2022 fares out, or like 2024 fares out. Are they going to keep up with the same pattern? Like, let's just spread our releases all throughout the year? Or are they going to pop everything at the end of the year again and basically be like, fuck you? So, I mean, we'll see. Anyway, take it away, Brennan.
Well, I fell asleep during any of that. We have Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Just a game. Hold on, wait. I didn't do the silly info.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. Oh my god. Someone's a little too Alan Wake 2. Ugh. Get it?
I love it.
Okay, I'll go really fast. Survival horror single player, developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing. It's gonna come out on the computer, the PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X on October 27th. I have no thoughts about this game, so take it away.
This one has been a long time coming. We were talking about Skull and Bones, being in development since 2013. I've been waiting for this game since 2010. I played the original Alan Wake, way back. I think I was in high school when the original Alan Wake came out. And I loved it. It was a really good game. I love horror games. I like all the spookies and the scarities.
You like what games?
Spooky.
I don't know the other word.
Horror?
Oh, I thought you said whore. Get it?
Oh my gosh.
For example, anyway, the original Alan Wake came out in 2010.
Yeah. And Brennan, I'm not that horny. But yeah, this was always like there were always rumors going around. Is Alan Wake 2 coming? Is Alan Wake 2 in development? Ever since the first one ends, it ends, and you're just like, what when does part 2 come out? Like, so just having to wait this long, which is something I'm scared of. I've waited so long. I hope my expectations aren't going to be too ridiculously high. But I mean, I finally get to play Alan Wake 2, and I'm so happy about that.
So the team behind Alan Wake, they also made Max Payne back in the day. And I remember,
Control.
yeah, they made Control, and they also made Quantum Break. And I remember way back when with Max Payne, my dad played Max Payne. Max Payne came out in fucking 2000, 2001. I remember my dad playing those games, and it was so cool.
I did play those games.
You're not my dad. Anyway, I'm excited for this game. I'm so excited because, in my opinion, there is nothing else like Alan Wake out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see them continue the story and also continue it in the world that they have, because if you don't know, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control all share the same universe. And Control is it's a beloved game. There's a lot of people who really like it and praise it highly. So I'm so excited to see where Alan Wake 2 goes. But also they've stated that Alan Wake 2 is going to be more of a horror game, a survivor, like a true survival horror game. So I think that's super exciting to see how and where that goes and what that turns into. So yeah, I'm excited. Remedy tells some really fucking good stories. And just to say my little piece, I was right. Alan Wake Remastered sort of led into Alan Wake 2, and back when we talked about Alan Wake Remastered, I called it that they would eventually release an Alan Wake 2, and this is what we're getting. So, but also they're in a partnership with Epic Games, so it looks like that partnership was you have to make a remaster of Alan Wake, but then you can also make Alan Wake 2. So, we'll see how it does.
Control didn't help. You find out Control was in the same universe as Alan Wake, and that just made it even harder to wait for Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. Like, Control's so fucking good. I think I've watched, so many, speed runs and, playthroughs of that game just because, the lore is so deep and so neat. Like, my favorite is the refrigerator. The guy, he's been sitting there for, days without, food, and he can't blink because he has to stare at this refrigerator. That's my favorite. But yeah, I have a lot of hope for this game. And with the way that Control and with the way Control has gone, which is their latest release, I feel like this game will do very, very well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I do have high hopes for it. I hope that they don't let me down. Will I play this? No. Um, I'm just I don't really like shooters. Add a horror element into it and I become a little bitch. So I'll sit back and watch somebody play this, probably Brad or Dan. Um, And, you know, Scream, even though I'm not actually playing it.
This is gonna be my Halloween game. Like, don't expect to see me on Halloween. Tuesday. Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna be around. You can leave messages. I will answer them on November 1st.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Like so fucking Halloween too. I was I was in college when the first one came out. I'm even older than I thought I was.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so yeah, this is just it's one of those instances where we want a game for so long and they finally release it. So
And
you get excited for it.
honestly, like, I'm happy that they've taken their time with it. Like, I think if
Yeah.
they would have made a 2 close to when the original one came out, I think it would have been a disappointment. I don't think it would have done well. I think them taking a break and creating Quantum Break and then creating Control, like, I think that sort of gave them a direction that they needed and went, okay, well, we have this crazy universe now. Let's finally put Alan Wake out there. And, like, right now, you don't have a lot of, like, true survival horror games, in my opinion. Like, I would compare this to, like, maybe, like, Silent Hill, in a
And-
sense. Or, like,
yeah.
maybe Resident Evil. But it's, like, the horror games that are out right now are something like Five Nights at Freddy's. And, like, I think this is just sort of a breath of fresh air into that genre. So I hope we see more games coming out like this very soon.
And it is nice because the only survival horror we've gotten in the past few years are all remakes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be nice to have an original survival horror title.
Which is sad because, like, I feel as if there are so many. You can have so many good survival horror games, but it's just they're not like this.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's cool that you take such a. Alan Wake's a fucking novelist. He writes horror stories, and those horror stories become animated. Like, oh, that's so cool. Who would have thought of that? Like, I the world that this game is set in is so neat, so
Yeah.
cool. The artifacts or objects, I think they're called like objects of power or something like that. Um, they're just so fucking cool. I just need somebody to like make a movie. I need a movie. I need a TV show. I need something.
It could star Jared Leto.
I don't know about all that.
When they dropped the first trailer for Alan Wake, I always joke around he looked just like fucking Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, you do have a point. Like on the
With the
cover.
with the beard and everything, yeah.
Um,
And so I was always like, shit, I'm gonna be playing a horror game starring Jared Leto.
Apparently, they are making a remake of Max Payne and Max Payne 2. So I will be like very excited to see that.
Yeah, because those were other games I played when they first came out, but that was
Yep.
20 years ago.
2001.
Yeah, and then the Mark Wahlberg movie didn't help.
That movie just wasn't good.
It wasn't.
It wasn't good.
It's one of the reasons I have no faith in video game movies anymore.
We're not gonna start on that tangent. Anyway. I think we're done. I think we're done.
I think we're done. Yes. Before we go any further.
Good,
Wait,
because-
pause.
Oh.
One more thing. Brennan said that it's coming out on X. It's also coming out on Series S because, as we all know, you can't release one without releasing on the other unless you're Baldur's Gate and currently in talks with Microsoft. So, yes, the S will be getting the S will be getting Alan Wake 2. Whereas Sony, it's coming out on PS5 only.
Yeah.
Just had to make that clarification.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now we're done.
He's not the only one at max pain, because I need surgery for my leg,
God.
and I am in physical pain. I have nothing left on this Word document, so I think we've officially ran out of things to talk about. And with that, I would like to open the forum to everyone with a couple of last final remarks. Do you have any last words? Not like you're gonna die, but I mean for the podcast. Do you have any last words for the pod? Not that this is the last podcast. I just mean, do you have any closing
Okay, it's
words?
called final. It's called final thoughts. Let
Final
me lead
thoughts,
it off.
right? Yeah.
My final thoughts are Ubisoft, get your fucking shit together, and I think Alan Wake 2 is going to be a big surprise to everyone. I think it's going to do a lot better than what we expect. At least I'm hoping that it does. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Michael?
Yeah, you know, fuck Assassin's Creed. Go play some Lies of P, some Starfield. Go marry a waifu in Factory. And let's hope Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2, that they meet our expectations. I'm hoping they do. So I'm looking forward. Hopefully everybody listening right now is, looking forward with us to seeing what these games can do.
Well said, friend. My final thoughts are, yeah, I've been thinking about this for a while,
Oh
and this is something that like kind of keeps me up at night. Do you guys, and this is a really genuine question, so I need you to be fully honest with me. Do you guys think that Garfield hates Mondays because John makes lasagna on Sunday and he has to live on leftovers? I totally think that's the reason he hates Mondays, because it's not like he has a job, right? You can't hate Monday because you have a job, but Garfield doesn't have a job. So like, is it because John leaves to go to a job? I don't think that's the case either, because I feel like Garfield really only likes him because he gives him food, but which again leads credence to the whole idea that Garfield hates Mondays because John makes lasagna on Sunday. Because my grandma made lasagna on Sunday. God bless her soul. And I too would be upset if I were a talking cat that didn't have to live off of freshly made lasagna on a Monday. All right, well, the silence is deafening. So we're gonna close. We're gonna close it off. We're gonna close it off there. Catch us back next week when we see who's got the biggest, the longest belt.
What the fuck?
I really think mine's bigger than Mike's, but he says that his is bigger. But we won't know until we show everyone our belts. Holding up our pants.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Also,
I'm gonna start our OnlyFans. We're gonna post pictures of our belts.
I'm gonna, I want to make a page, and I'm gonna call it OnlyFlans, where I just make different flan.
Oh my god. Okay.
Just different versions of flan.
We're gonna wrap it up here. So
No, this is my job. No.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for listening to the pre-review crew.
It's not the outro.
You got your favorite buckaroos.
It's not the outro.
Ooh, yeah, I never make it this far in the episode to know what the outro is, so I.
Brennan always checks out by now.
Okay, I'll do it. It's fine. Catch us back here next month to see if the games live up to our expectations or not, especially with Assassin's Creed and Alan Wake 2. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and we will catch you back next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
I love you.
After this, I don't think they love us anymore.
Okay, are we ready to completely fuck this whole thing up?
Yay!
Fuck shit up. That's what I do.
You fuck shit. Thank you.
Oh.
How do you start this again? Good.
Do you just want me to do the intro?
No.
Okay.
She starts,
No.
"What's up, cool cats of the internet?"
Yeah,
This
it's-
is
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it's what is up, cool cats of the interwebs. It is your girl Haley back at it again with another episode of the pre-review crew.
I can do that. What is up, my fellow wet dogs of the internet? It's your boy, Skinny Penis.
What the
Oh,
No,
yeah.
redo that. I can't. Oh god. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna be like, "Oh, yeah."
It's your boy, Skinny Penis.
No girth, unsatisfying.
What is up, cool cats of the interwebs? It's girl Haley back at it again with another fantastic episode of pre-review crew. We've got your host, Brennan, right? That's me. And then I got my two people here. We got Haley, I think.
I'm dying.
You should stop that. Die on your own time. Oh, that was real. Why aren't you introducing yourself?
Oh, hello.
Oh my god. Do I have to redo that again?
No.
Are you really making me redo this? Oh my god.
Keep going, just keep going.
You didn't even. Did you?
I said hello.
That doesn't count. Okay, we're
Oh
gonna
my god.
take it from the top. All right, Haley. Next time, I want you to do it with happier and with your mouth open. Okay. I really want you to. I want you to want this.
Oh,
Right?
damn.
Okay. All right. 5, 4,